I'm now going to begin the response alignment of this machine, and I'm going to do one channel only, so that and you can assume that the other channel is properly aligned. And in order to do that, you adjust the electronics on the inside of the machine. Now, every machine has a different protocol for how to do the alignment. You need to learn that protocol per machine, but the fundamental principles are the same for all machines. The first thing that I'm going to do is adjust the reproduce gain. That is the level, the output level of the Repro system. This tape was recorded at the nominal recording level that we intend to use for the master, so I'm going to set this reproduction so that the meter on this machine reads 0 when I'm playing the 1 kilohertz tone. So it's possible that the tones you're aligning to will not be a standardized reference tape like this, but they could be the tones from an existing session. That is, let's say a band has mixed a few songs and they've gone home and come back and they're now ready to finish mixing their record, and they're going to add more mixes onto the reel that you're compiling their mixes on. So in that case, the tones that you'll be aligning to would not be a reference tape, but would be the existing session tones from a surviving session. And in that case, you would always line the machine up so that your reference 0, the reference level tone, typically a 1 kilohertz tone, lines up at 0. If you're working with a reference tape and the reference tape is not at your target reference fluxivity, then you'll need to adjust your calibration. That is, instead of calibrating so your meters read 0, you'll be calibrating so that your meters read -2 or -3 or -5 or whatever, depending on the difference between the reference fluxivity of your alignment tape and the reference fluxivity of your target for your session. There are tables online that you can use to calibrate. There's also that you can use to figure out that difference. There's also a mathematical law that you can use. There are so many different possibilities: 100 nanowebers, 150 nanowebers, 200, 250, 320, 370, 500. There are so many different possibilities for alignment that I'm not going to go through trying to figure out which one you'd need to use at the moment. Just be aware that if your alignment tape is not at your reference fluxivity, then you need to compensate when you're doing your alignment, and your playback alignment needs to line up at the differential between your reference tape and your target fluxivity. So we're going to assume that we're aligning everything at 0 here. So I'm going to align one channel here, and you can assume the other one is nominally aligned. I'm going to start with the reproduction alignment, and that is the playback level. And this machine is a 4-speed machine, so there's a separate level control for each speed. So I'm aligning the right channel here, and I'm going to diddle the pot up and down slightly prior to settling on the 0. And the reason that you do that is to exercise the contact point on the potentiometer, so that you don't build up a dimple in the conductive surface by leaving the pot in the same position for too much of its time. You want to move the pot, and so the wiper of the pot acts as a cleaner over the conductive surface, and that gives you a little bit better accuracy on the pot over time. So I've aligned that right channel to 0 here. The left channel looks pretty good, so I'm not going to concern myself with that. And I've now considered the reproduction of this reproduction side of this to be aligned as far as level is concerned.